My bowl is cold. Red rising. Let me put this on here. What's this on my head wrap? Q&A. Oh, thank you. Pin comment. All right, here we go. Peace, y'all. Red rising. Grand rising. All right, so today is our Q&A for I'm gonna try to do both classes. So the Q&A for Goddess Awakening 1 and 2. If you are a member or a classmate of Goddess Awakening 1 or 2, this is your time to answer questions. For my Goddess Awakening 1 students, this is all about your natal chart, your human design chart, where you are at in that process, and your sun, rising, and moon sign. For our for our Goddess Awakening 2 students, this is all about libation, the beginning, see where y'all at. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at y'all progress report to see how far y'all have gotten. And then candles. I was trying to upload this darn sigil video. Mercury retrograde don't like me right now. I don't know why I decided to launch new digital classes during Mercury retrograde or whatnot. Peace, 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 peace. All right. So for Goddess Awakening 1, you should be knee deep in the section of discovering your natal chart, understanding what's important in your natal chart, how to break down that natal chart where it will help you navigate better throughout this journey, and then your human design chart. And you should see similarities. If you might, well, I shouldn't say that because you might not understand human design chart as much. But I always feel like the human design chart give you a snapshot. Honestly, like if you just look at and understand the basics with your human design chart. So if you know your profile type, and I'm gonna see if I can pull somebody that I can pick on. Okay, so like it's a lot of generators in this particular class. If you know that your profile type, your actual human design chart type is a generator, you know that you have that energy of being the motivator. You are the engine behind every dynamic. Now, what ends up happening when you are the engine behind all dynamics, you tend to pour a lot of energy into everything and everyone else but yourself. Y'all number one issue is the fact that you will get behind a vision and a dream. Y'all are the workforce, per se, is what they like to call you. But the problem with that is that you are capable of being more than just the workforce. Y'all tend to get behind someone else's dream and motivate and push their dreams into action. You can see what needs to happen within their dreams. You can see, if you work for a company, what's the positive and what's the negatives in that company. You are able to break it down and dissect it because you see and understand how to work efficiently and effectively. Now, like I said, the issue with that to me is the fact that if it's not going the way that you feel like, if it's making you feel frustrated about that job, or you're not liking that job or that dynamic, you will easily quit. You will easily abandon what that situation is, unless you have certain placements in your natal chart that make you a lot more grounded. So let's say you might be a Taurus rising or a Taurus sun. All right. You could be a Taurus rising and a Taurus sun with a generator placement, and it'll make you stay in that job even though you can't stand the job. It'll make you stay in that job just a little bit longer even though you do not like it. And in your mind, you'll be like, I could do this myself. I could have went and did that. You will still be wanting to do something different, but y'all don't execute as quickly because of certain placements that you might have in your chart. But as a generator, you are amazing at being the engine. You have to think about that. You are the engine behind anything that needs to go. Anything. Like a generator and a manifestor would be amazing together. Because that manifestor would consistently be making ideals. And if the generator wanted to be in that role of the engine, they would make that ideal come into fruition. So that's why those type of relationships work really, really, really well. Generator to me can work well with anyone because they help people put their dreams into action. Kiki, you said, so you realize house moves based on the earth placement. Absolutely. I thought the first house is always Aries, but the first house can be a Cancer, King, and Spike. Now, so this is the thing. The first house, whatever is in your actual chart, your natal chart, that's it. It don't go nowhere else. It doesn't change. You are Aries rising for the rest of your life. That doesn't change. Now, what does happen is that your chart could be in transit. Your chart could have certain dynamics that's happening, but normally that's just your planets are moving. Your signs don't never move because that's your individual chart. Now, as far as what's going on in the universe, that's going to always be moving and changing and doing different dynamics. But your actual personal natal chart, which is your birth chart, those dynamics never change. The only thing that changes where things are sitting at certain times and places in your journey. So let's say, right now, your Mars or your Jupiter might be sitting in a different house than it was when you were born. Okay? That's the only thing that really changed that you need to pay attention to. Where are those planets sitting now? So that would be your transient chart. Where are those planets sitting now? But it will still be in your natural house, like your natural chart. Does that make sense? Then the other aspect is, if you're reading it from the only thing that would make it change as far as chart wise is like you said, placement. Okay. Yeah, that was for you. Placement could be, let's say, Vedic astrology changes. So it'll almost make it where you're the sign before the sign you are. So let's say in Vedic astrology, like in Western astrology, I'm a Leo. But in Vedic astrology, I'm a Cancer. Okay? Grand rising. So that changes the dynamic too. So you could pull a chart that's a little bit different. It just shifts everything. If it makes sense, it shifts everything backwards. That would go that way. It shifts everything like a 30-day calendar back. I'm not going to host one. I was thinking about doing one for December, but I'm going to take a break. I think I'm going to take a break. I'll know for sure by the time we hit mid-month. I'll know for sure by next week or the week after. I might take a break though. Yes, Kiki, play it back. Catch it on the replay. Going back to my generators, I always tell my generators, because sometimes when they hear it, when you hear and read about a generator, sometimes y'all understand it from a perspective like the guy who actually talks more about human design chart. He made a comment like y'all are almost like the slaves of society. But let's be clear, you're only the slave of society if you do not understand how to operate in your generator energy. If you do not know how to maximize your generator energy or operate in a certain dynamic, then you will be the ones that will be the workforce behind people's visions and dreams. So what you want to do is really figure out if that's what you want. There's nothing wrong with that, because there has to be roles for everyone. But if you want more than that, Oprah Winfrey was a generator, and she has done a lot. But like I break down to everyone, she was a generator, but guess what? She put the engine behind a lot of people's dreams. She got herself to a certain point, and then she put the energy into everyone else. Yes, Gigi. You can. A lot of times we are taught not to, but you have to also understand when you are on your cycle, what is your actual personal cycle? All right. Is your cycle, is that a time that you need to be still? Is that a time that you need to be more active and in your magical self? Like, you really got to study, because you can tell by your body. All my women on here, when we are on our cycles, you could tell, like, sometimes you might get really tired right before your cycle. You might be wanting to do a lot of sleeping before your cycle. That means you need to rest. That means it's time to shut it down, be still, rest your body so you can recharge. And then maybe you have more energy during your cycle. Some people, it just really depends. Okay. Oh, I'm going to send you some stuff, Miss Impact, so you can get some information on human design. So, Auntie Gigi, this is going to be a time where you really want to study what cycle does your body naturally run through. Because not only do we have our moon, like our regular moons, our body cycle, but we also have a cycle of what our body will do. Because sometimes we are more energetic and more powerful in the beginning of the month, and that might not be the time frame that your cycle is going. Okay? So you got to really pay attention to what does your body naturally tend to fall into? What rhythm does it has? And all of us have a different rhythm. But you got to pay attention to it so you can understand when is the best time for you to manifest and use that power. Leslie says that we are most powerful and pure during our periods. We are, to a degree, but you have to still, like I said, pay attention to your own personal body and what, is happening, because you might not be at your peak during your cycle, because that might be your time to rest. I know I shut all the way down. I don't know about y'all. I'll be ready to, like, for those first couple of days, I'm like, I don't want to talk to nobody. Just let me sleep. Let me sleep and be still. And then I get, like, back into my rhythm. So. Right. And that also affects Miss Impact. I just saw your other comment too. Thank you. Miss Impact said hers changed after she had her child. And that it happens. Like, when we start having children, things start to change in our body. So sometimes we are affected by that. And you have to pay attention to what maybe your body is either deficient in, or what is your body telling you need to do at that moment in time. I know it's been times where I'll be like, I'm broke. I'm broken. Something wrong. Rest in TLC is absolutely important. Absolutely. So yeah, when it comes to like those of y'all that's in the Goddess Awakening too, knowing how your body cycles, what routine you're on. She said it changed during when she started having her cycle. Yes. Now that's the other thing. There's a interesting dynamic that when women are in the same household, we become in sync. If you pay attention, if you ever had a roommate or if you have older girl children, there's a thing that happens where we become in sync. And all the girls, like, have y'all ever paid attention that you and your best friends, y'all all of a sudden have the synchronicity where things start to happen? I didn't used to get sick at one point either. And then one time I remember at a certain dynamic, I was getting sick. And I was like, okay. I'm like, so you have to pay attention to your circle, your environment, and like I said, your rhythm of your own natural body, what is going on with your body. And that lets you know. But to me, that always tells me, I was like, that should let you know how strong and powerful. That's why it's important for women to have sister circles, because we sync together and create this whole nother vortex. That's a whole nother live, but we create a whole nother vortex and energy when you learn, like when you actually connect with other women. That's a whole nother level of power. That's why they, nothing against my men, but that's why a lot of spiritual teachers that talk about things from a certain perspective, they always talk about how women are the ones that would actually be able to transition and save this earth. Which is why the divine feminine is coming into power, or supposed to be in power at this moment in time. And the things that are shifting and about to shift in our universe is going to be very key on where the state of consciousness of women are. Where is the level of consciousness in our women? And what are we actually doing with that level of consciousness? When you was pregnant once, my man had the pregnancy symptoms. Yes, well, yes, that happens too. Absolutely. We have a different dynamic and a different power. I feel like we always have to understand, women, we have to be very key on understanding who we are and what it is that we do. And our role in society, as well as men. Men have to understand who they are and their role in society, how they are supposed to create a certain dynamic in order for the women to do what it is that we do. That's why we are naturally the divine feminine. We operate from a certain energy naturally. And how the upset has become because some of us ain't naturally operating in our divine feminine anymore. We are operating more in our masculine energy. All right. Any questions? Generator wise, like I said, if you are studying your human design chart, this is a great time to like really dive in, really understand what your part is. I always tell my manifestors, y'all are the ones that are very creative. You are inventors. You are the ones that are able to, y'all are the creators of the world. You're the visionaries of the world. So my manifestors, y'all are supposed to be the ones that come up with great ideals and envision ideals. A lot of times with my manifestors, this is the dynamic that happens. Y'all start to, lose momentum. You come up with these great ideas, but you don't necessarily have the energy to put behind the great ideals. You don't know how to, stay in your leadership role, because that's what you are. You are natural born leaders. You are supposed to be the CEOs of these businesses. Y'all are supposed to be running shit. You could tell when you have a manifestor child. That manifestor child will be a little bit bossy. It'll be a little bit bossy. Okay. If you are a manifesting generator, 9 times out of 10, you are the person that come up with ideals, but then you try to work the ideal too. So you will come up with the ideal, like let's say you created, this is my best friend's product. You create this shea butter, right? You come up with the shea butter concept, and it's got all these great ingredients in it. Okay? Next thing that y'all try to do, you're going to make the shea butter. So then when you create this business and it launch, now y'all are the manpower behind you wearing all the hats. Manifested generators tend to want to wear all the hats. You have to you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to come up with the ideal, maybe even figure out what's the most effective and efficient way to produce this ideal. Okay? But then you pass it off. You find you some generators that's going to work to create your product and push your product the right way so you can continue making new ideas, so you can continue to create. Projectors like me, we are supposed to learn from our life lessons. We are supposed to, projectors to me, what I tend to find out is that we live probably the most challenging lives. Projectors, this is about learning from your own personal experience, sometimes learning from life. So when we become a certain age or when we get into a certain dynamic, we become teachers, we become guides. We are the teachers and the guides of the community. We are supposed to help assist everyone through this journey. The hard part with projectors is like we have to wait for the invitation most of the time. We have to wait to be asked for help. We tend to like to help even when people don't ask us. And that's what makes us frustrated. I'm an old bitter woman now because I be like, I don't got to help y'all. Fine, do it yourself. Go ahead and run into the brick wall on your own. And I get frustrated and mad because you just being stupid in my mind. Why are you going, I told you I knew how to help you get over the brick wall, but you just want to run into the brick wall. Go ahead and run into the brick wall then. That's how projectors are. We'll get really frustrated to the point where we don't even want to do it no more. Like, oh, you know what? Go on and crash. I ain't worried about it then. Instead of saying, let me not be frustrated with you because that's not your fault. You didn't ask me to help you, so I must not be the one to help you. Wait for the invitation. It will save you a lot of headache. It will save you a lot of time and energy. Projectors, y'all can feel things to a 10th power. My projectors, y'all are the ones that are going to be maybe, it's better for you to be in the house. It's better for you to be in the country. It's better for you to be in environments that you are not surrounded by a lot of people. Why? Because you pick up energy. You're a super soaker. But the super soaker in the aspect of everything, every energy, every emotion, every dynamic that's going on around you, you're going to pull in as your own. You embody other people's energy. You embody other people's dynamics. So you don't really you could be sitting there listening to someone's stuff and their problems. And then, like I said, this will be like you take on those problems as your own because you're embodying their pain. That's why when I do readings, I can tell pain-wise what's going on in your body. When I do readings, I can tell what chakra is not in alignment because what happens is that I open up my vessel and I pull in your energy. I can embody who you are. I can sit in your body basically and understand what's going on and what you feeling like. I try not to do that too much no more because some of y'all is jacked up. So knowing where your position is, we are the super empaths. But we have to understand how to navigate, how to take a lot of breaks, how to rest. I didn't understand that until recently, how important it was for me to rest and take breaks. Okay. My reflectors, y'all are almost just like my projectors, and y'all are very rare. My reflectors, y'all have a whole nother dynamic, and y'all tend to live a very interesting life as well. Now, my reflectors, the difference with y'all is it is even more important and more necessary for y'all to have moments by yourself. I don't even want to say this because some of y'all will take this the wrong way, but sometimes my reflectors, they need to be by themselves. Y'all don't need to be in no relationships. Not to say that you can't be in a relationship. I'm just saying that it's going to be hard because what you end up doing is the same way that a projector does. We take in and embody whoever that is around us. So reflectors become these master chameleons to a sense. They actually reflect what's going on outside of them. So they become a duplicate. So what you want to do as a reflector is just make sure that you're taking enough time, whether it's with your group of friends or whether it's with your mate, that you are going away by yourself to really sit in yourself so you can understand what thoughts and what energy and what emotion is yours compared to what's everybody else's. What emotion is that you own compared to everybody else's. All of this ain't yours. Okay? And you have a distinct way of showing the universe what's really going on. Let me say that. You have a very intricate part on how you are supposed to move and navigate through this life journey if you are a reflector in this life journey. All right? But all of these types, like I said, if you pay attention to your chart, you'll know why. Like if you break, like even my own natal chart, I knew I was supposed to be a certain dynamic, but when you look at my human design and they tell you I'm a projector, it makes sense because of my chart setup. So pay attention to what your natal chart is saying. Your natal chart is going to help you get into more detail, but your human design chart will help you master and navigate those challenges way better because you'll have a different understanding and ability on why you're supposed to operate and maneuver a certain way. Let me go back because I know I saw a question. Hold on. Actually, Kiki, that's a great question. You said you tried to close your eyes in meditation, but you don't think it works for you. Mirror gazing don't work. You'll try candle gazing. Okay, so the key with the meditation, the key with meditation is, beloved, that one, it takes repetition. I always tell y'all, like, don't think that you just gonna wake up one day and gonna be able to do certain dynamics. It's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm not gonna be that one to be telling y'all like, oh, you should be able. No, you can't. If you spent a certain portion of your life not being connected to yourself, not operating and being still, not operating and connecting to your breath, guess what? When you decide to start that journey, it is really, really hard because you have to really figure out how to really be still. And that is the number one issue for any and everyone. They don't know how to be still. They don't know how to sit down in their stillness. So you have to make sure that you create a routine where it becomes a certain time that you're doing it. Do not go off of that time, especially when you're starting out. Be very disciplined to the timing. So if it's early in the morning when your house is quiet and still, then that's when you need to do it. So it might be 5 o'clock in the morning that you need to go and you do your meditation. You don't necessarily, and I tell y'all don't have to fall into the pit of what does that meditation look like. Study the different types of meditation to find what is going to be the thing that triggers you into what works for you. Okay. Same time every day. You have to put your body in a sense of that it will automatically go into whatever it is that you're trying to create. This is about tricking your subconscious. This is about tricking the ego to know that, oh, I'm supposed to be doing this at this time. Okay. Burning certain scents that you only burn during your meditation. Really creating an environment that's going to be conducive to this is my time to really sit down and be still in my thoughts and in my mind and in my breath or whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, and just being intentional. Set it as a time. Make sure, like, let's say this week you say, I'm only doing 5 minutes every morning. Stick to that 5 minutes every morning, and then increase the time a little bit every other week, or every week if you can. Okay? Meditation is not a dynamic that y'all need to get to. Like I tell people, like, don't think that you got to sit there and you got to be, sitting in the position with your hands a certain way and your legs crossed. That might not work for you. You might need to do something like Tai Chi. You might need to do something that is going to be a movement meditation for you, because the whole goal is for you to zone out and to connect to breath and be in a space of stillness so you can hear what you need to hear. Meditation is our ability to hear what the ancestors and our spirit guides are telling us. Okay? Or our higher self. So set the mood for yourself. Yeah, set the mood. I'm like, y'all will set the mood for y'all to get some. Some of y'all. You'll set the mood for you to do it. Set the mood for, your spiritual self too. Make sure that you're being very consistent in how that is. Yes, exactly. Set the mood like you going on a date with yourself. There's a difference between meditation and visualization, Lalana. So there's a difference. Kiki, you don't have to cross your legs. You could just lay there and have your legs out. Like, you really want to be in a space where you're comfortable. Sometimes you can sit in a chair if you need to. So sit in a chair and do your meditation if that's more comfortable. But just sit there and really pay attention to your breath. Focus. If you need to play some music that's soft, burn you some lavender or some sage. Burn you some frankincense and myrrh. Do whatever it is that's going to help you naturally connect to who you are. That's going to be the biggest key, okay? Don't get stuck in thinking that you got to be sitting like Buddha. Or like, there's so many different ways to meditate. Okay, there's so many different ways. I might do a quick video on different meditation techniques. Okay. But the whole thing is connecting to breath. Yes. So meditation is more about, how do I connect to my breath? That's a great question. Let me read the whole question for people who might catch this on YouTube. Lalana said, so there's a difference between meditation and visualization for manifestation. Absolutely. Meditation is more of us connecting to our breath, us connecting to our higher consciousness. If you are setting intentions and you setting not just intentions, but if you are doing prayer is when intentions, and prayer is when we are asking the universe to gift and grant us something. Meditation is when we listen and receive the messages. Okay. Meditation is a way to connect to who you are so you can stay centered and still long enough for you to hear. Okay. Visualization is you sitting almost like in a meditative state, but you are imagining, you want to see. Meditation, you shouldn't be sitting there trying to visualize nothing. Visualization, you should be sitting there trying to like distinctly see and create what you want in your life. So if you want to open a new shop, then you should see yourself getting out your car, going to the front of the door, what the front of the storefront look like. You putting the key in the door, opening the store up. Like, you need to see yourself going through the process in order for it to come into fruition. All right. So it's definitely a difference. Make sure that you are taking time to meditate so you can sit still, so you can receive the answers that's going to help you navigate how to get what you're visualizing about. Visualization is just like lucid dreaming to a degree. I feel like visualization is a lot more intentional because you want to make sure that you're still in an awake consciousness. Does that make sense? Visualization, you still kind of like, I always do my visualization as soon as I wake up. That's one of the first things that I do. And I'll visualize how I want my day to go. I'll visualize the things that I want to put into position. Lucid dreaming is more of you're still in a dream. You're in your dream state. You're in your astral traveling state. And you're just creating the dynamics. Do I have a book that there's one, Astro Dynamics. If you're in Magical Ones on Facebook, I think I have the download on there. You can read that. I don't think I have a book in there on visualization. Now, I do have books on all kind of energy work, but there's so many. You have to like really go out there and search and see how you digest information. Because sometimes I don't be wanting to tell y'all some books because I be like, I think I'm low-key a nerdy type girl. So I like factual. I like books that you have to really read. Let me say that. I like meaty books. Oh, you mean my own book? Not yet. It's not out yet. I had some issues with the daggone editing. So it's coming. I'm going to let you know. Not yet. It's coming. I'm working on it. It's two together. All of them probably going to end up hitting out at the same time. Do I mind sharing my own spiritual routine with us, and how long does it take for me? Okay. So in the morning, my spiritual routine is normally once I get up early as crap, and then I go back to sleep. That's why y'all see me posting at like sometimes like 4 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning, because I normally get up around that time. The first thing that I do when I get up is visualization. So I'll sit there. I take that back. The first thing that I do is I go into gratitude. So the first thing that I do is when I wake up, I'm in gratitude. I'm thinking about all the things that I'm grateful for. I'm acknowledging to the ancestors and the spirit guides. Thank you for, creating the life that you've created for me, giving me the understanding. Okay. All the dynamics that are amazing to me in my life. So I go into a space of gratitude. The next thing that I do is my visualization. I see myself being and walking in the energy. I normally don't really visualize per se what I want to happen in my day anymore. Now it's more that anybody that I come in contact with, that they receive nothing but love and light from me. So I visualize myself walking through people embodied in light. And whatever light that I feel like I need to be embodied in. A lot of times it's blue for me. So I normally see myself coming into it, especially if I know I'm going to meet a certain person that day, then I make sure that that person is in my visualization. I do that with my children. I see myself walking in a certain energy throughout the day. After I do my visualization, I get up and I do something that's similar to like Tai Chi. So I call it sacred movement. And I go through like my movement of connecting to my breath and making sure that I'm it's almost like yoga and breathing at the same time, if I had to put it into words. And then after that, I go and take my spiritual shower. So I always make a whole routine. I have a whole routine that is connected to my shower. I light candles. I have cinnamon burning. I typically call it my Oshun routine. So I have a ritual of like what oils that I use, what lotions that I use. I have my 3 candles burning as I'm doing all of this. And then after I get out of the shower and do all of my little, upkeep, then the next thing that I do is sit down for meditation. Okay. At my altar. And that's it. So after I finish meditation at my altar, it'd be time to get it popping. And that's why I get up so early, so I can make sure that I have time to do what I need to do for myself. It's quiet as hell at the time I get up. I feel like I'm more connected in those wee hours in the morning. And then I end my day pretty much similar, but in reverse, if that makes sense. So like I do all the same things that I just said that I do in the morning, except for my meditation ends up being the last thing that I do before I go to bed. So hopefully that explain it. It normally takes me, like, I don't get to, meditation can kind of be tricky, but I try to make sure that I'm conscious enough to cut it off at a certain time. Because my meditation could go longer than I was planning on it. But most of the time, my meditation is, I try to put myself on a time limit in the morning so I can make sure I can get everything done by a certain time. Okay. What do I do when I receive so many confirmations from the Orishas and the angel numbers, but then have these doubts because it just doesn't look like what they are from? My mystical. I don't never doubt what my higher powers are telling me. Ever. I be like, there's one dynamic that I always be like, y'all sure, but I be saying it more in a joking manner than a real manner. I never doubt. I know I've lived such a interesting life. I know that they always have my best interests at heart. They always do. I never question it. You have to like make sure that you and I know because we get out of religion, so we don't have to operate in blind faith, but you have to have blind faith. You have to look at trial and error. They've never led you wrong when you are believing truly in your higher self and how you are connected to source. Know that everything is going to be the way it's supposed to be. Yeah, Kiki, I do both morning and night. If I'm super tired and it's just like that night that I was talking to my daughter, I didn't get off the phone with her until 3. That whole routine get cut. I don't think I'm doing is meditating before I go to bed. What is the human design chart? Look, Google, Sandy, I need you to go Google it. You'll love it. The human design chart gives us a better understanding of who we are from a different perspective, from our auric field. So, you'll love it. It gives you more of who you are and how you pick up energy and how you receive energy or how you project energy or reflect it. Hold on. So yeah, my mystic, the biggest thing for you, beloved, is you have to like really sit still long enough to really understand that they never, ever, ever are wrong. They never lead us wrong. We are the only ones that mess that up. The only ones. We're the only ones that throw a monkey wrench in the stuff. The ego always casts doubts in your spiritual message. Absolutely. The ego is tricky. The ego gonna try to keep you from your higher self. The ego gonna create distractions. Okay. Thank you, Shada Honey. The ego is going to create all the different dynamics that's gonna throw you off. Shada Honey, send her both. Don't just send, I don't know if you have both. Send her the Jovian and send her the My Body Graph chart link. I like My Body Graph over Jovian. My Body Graph, it breaks the information down a little bit differently for you. The ego will make us think that what we want to come into fruition can't come into fruition. Okay. Now, the other part about that is also you have to understand when it comes to the spiritual journey, sometimes y'all have a interesting way of not listening to what they're really telling you. Sometimes y'all just want what you want. So let's say if it's in regards to a relationship and you really want to be with this person, it might not be meant for you to be with that person. So if it don't come into fruition, don't be thinking that your spirit guides failed you. Don't be thinking that the ancestors failed you. Okay? They didn't fail you. They actually are serving you, because their whole point is to serve your higher self, to make sure that they get you to your best self. They're never going to put somebody or something in your life that either you don't learn from, because some of these situations is for us to learn. It's for us, all of us, to learn. But either we're going to learn from it, or they know that that person is too toxic. Our issue is not thinking that we need to go off of our own understanding from the ego, because that ego will have y'all asses sitting there talking about woe is me, crying and crap. Ego will have you hemmed up in the wrong situation and doing stuff that don't make no damn sense. Okay? Definitely be more intentional about how to recognize what are they telling you and what direction are they trying to navigate you to. Is that all my questions? Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. If we use spell candles, are we just placing the herbs around the candles? Yes. Well, hold on. Okay, so with love, spell candles. I wish I would have had candles up here. Let's pretend that this is the candle. What you would do is put the oil on the candle. So the thing about spell candles, I don't know if you watched the video or is the video, I'm going to go look and make sure. If you use a spell candle, it's the same way that you would do a pillar candle. You would take the candle and whatever the oil that you're using for your intentional oil, you're going to move up if you're bringing something into your life, and then you're going to move away if you're going to, you want something to go away from your life, okay? So if you're setting a candle for the release of ego, perfect thing since we're talking about ego, then you're going to take the candle and you're going to move your oil away. You can roll your candle. So if you're taking something away from you, you're going to roll your candle away from you. If you wanted something to come into your life, you're going to have your herbs on your little parchment paper or whatever and roll your candle back towards you. Everything is intentional. So your actions, your movement, all the dynamics, okay? Then you're just going to put your candle on the plate. So y'all already should know if you're using spell candles or pillar candles, and you just burn the bottom of it, stick it on a plate, or whatever it is that you're burning on a mirror. I burn mine on my I Am Magical mirror. Put it on there. And if you want to put a little extra herbs and make it pretty, do all of that. Be very intentional on how you are dressing your candles, whether it is in a jar like these, or if it is a candle that you are using like a pillar candle or a spell candle. Same concept. All right. Your male ancestors are very present in your life. They don't play with you, right? They be like, sit your ass down. If you are connected to your spirit guides and your ancestors, they get to the point where they are very present. And some can be very bossy and some can be very nurturing. It just depends on which one, what kind you get, what's their energy. And it's normally a reflection of you. So this is, I'm probably going to do a video on that too. You have to understand that your Orishas or your spirit guides or your angels, they are a reflection of who you are. Okay? They are very connected to who you are. So some people might experience Oshun from the sarcastic, sassy, whatever, but that's just a reflection of you. She's showing up in the element of who you are when it comes to Oshun. So you have to think, unless it's like an ancestor that definitely had a distinct personality that you remember, then you'll see that. Ancestors is a little bit different than spirit guides. Okay. So yesterday you said I should burn a yellow candle leading up to the full moon. Absolutely. Just burn the candles like normal. Yes. You don't have to do anything else to them. This is about more of the color and you understanding that the yellow is connected to your solar chakra. Okay. And if you don't know a lot of information about your solar chakra, go look up all the dynamics that are connected to your solar chakra. Okay. If you don't know anything about solar chakra, go look it up so you can see all the dynamics that are connected to the solar chakra and why this is important for you in the color yellow. Okay. That's energy. Okay. Supernatural activity. Woo. That's gonna have a like y'all be wanting me to get into topics that I'll be like, that's a whole damn video. Let me see what we looking like on time. Supernatural activity can come from two different dynamics. It can either come from the energy of some, like, you know, that ancestor being or that spirit being in your house. Okay. It can also come from you and your power. A lot of times y'all misunderstand your own personal power. The more that you expand, the more that your energy is growing and evolving, your auric field gets more stronger, your power becomes what is the word that I'm looking for? Your power becomes more noticeable. You will start to hear cracks. It is pushing the universe. It creates other dynamics. So the TV cut now don't necessarily have to mean that that's the spirit that's connected outside of you. It could be even your own energy in another dimension that's there with you at that moment in time. So we have to, like, when you get into what the supernatural is, you have to understand the supernatural is beyond what we have seen and been told on TV. Okay? The supernatural is beyond what we have seen and been told on TV. When you really understand the science behind who we are and our own capability, the more that you tap into who you are and you start to empower yourself a certain way, it grows. Okay? And especially for my beginners, because you don't really understand and know how, okay, it's growing. You don't even understand how it is evolving. You don't have any control over it because you don't know how to control it. You're not even understanding it. And what we tend to do is put that off on thinking it's something else. Nah, that's you. That was you closing the door. Okay? That was you making the damn lights go out. Especially if you are a projector or if you are a you got RH negative blood. RH negative blood people, y'all are just like I'm a RH negative. We tend to drain batteries. We tend to drain electricity from lights. We pull in all the energy around us because we don't never have energy of our own. So you could be sleeping beside somebody. Your mates probably be waking up still feeling tired or drained because you sitting there, depending on what their type is, you sitting there in your sleep unconsciously pulling in all their energy. Yes. So your power, this is why children can sense who you are, whether you're a good person or a bad person. This is why animals recognize. Okay? You are more powerful than what you think you are. So, I'm just reading what you call it. You say you scaring the shit out your husband. And Shot talk about, your brother talk about, go get your spirit guys. Like I said, y'all have to understand all of these things are extensions of ourselves. You have to really be very clear on a lot of dynamics that y'all think are, y'all are still operating from a God complex. And when I say a God complex, like you looking at God as it's an outer body thing, that it's this mysterious energy that's in the sky. None of this stuff is a mysterious energy that's in the sky. There are levels to this. Levels. Let's be clear. So a lot of dynamics that you manifest within your home, or you manifest in certain dynamics, it should come from y'all. You have to know how to have more control over how things show up and what you open up. That's why I'll be big on, like, before y'all start opening up certain portals and certain dynamics, know yourself first, because you're gonna be done open up some shit that you can't close. Just saying. Okay. We are amazing beings. Amazing. We have so-called supernatural abilities when we start to really understand who we are. But you have to really understand who you are, how to control it, and how to manipulate it. Okay? Lord, Sandy, you and Shot of Honey is a damn whisperer. Y'all spirit whispers, animal whispers. I don't know why I'm losing my voice. That's not good. I needed to stay for like 2 more days. 2 more days. Might have been all that throat chakra energy I was holding back yesterday. Oh, boy, when you want to release your throat chakra and you be like, nope, not gonna do it. I'm gonna be good today. I'm gonna be good. My body be like, nope, shut it down. All right, any more questions before I jump off of here? Hopefully everybody that is in the class got what they wanted to ask answered. I hope I saw all the questions. They can see it. Kids and animals are not conditioned, so they see our energy before other people do, grown people do. It depends on what size candles you burning, Layana. I would just set the candle somewhere that can't be bothered or touched, and you just burn them. I prefer for you to use 7-day candles or something that's gonna burn more than a couple of days. Okay, you can start by meditating in the beginning and knowing, what you need to transition and be released, but you definitely want to do them before. Oh, I forgot both of y'all Capricorns. That makes sense. Is the universe a compass? Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. Saying the earth signs are knowing power. Yeah. Miss Impact also said that listen to the hums and pay attention to your dreams after, because she usually has a dream where she hears the hums. The hums is also depending on where you're hearing it at. You also want to pay attention to what ear you're hearing it through, because sometimes that's a warning or a dynamic of letting you know. That's like a warning. It could be a bad warning or a good warning, depending on what ear you're hearing it in. A lot of times, like I said, y'all, you have to be very conscious of, you are more powerful than you realize. You are energy. So the more that your energy grows, the more that it affects the energy in your home. Her candle was for something different. Raquel, that was like if you had a reading and I told you a certain candle. That's what she was asking about. All right, guys. So I'm gonna go because I got like a million things to do to get ready for these boys' birthday this weekend. I love you guys. I will that y'all have an amazing day. Definitely, if you are planning on doing any full moon work, make sure y'all are meditating. Okay, meditating. Okay. through it. And Miss Impact said left ear. So left ear is always, I wasn't going to say all that, but the left ear is always normally your warning that something crazy about to happen. Right ear is normally a celebration or something good is about to happen. They're counting me down. So I love you guys. Peace.